Welcome back to Swordbox, and welcome back to 66 Books in 66 Days, our series that we're working our way through. We come today to the book of Ecclesiastes, and as noted in chapter 1, verse 1, King Solomon is believed to be the author. The title Ecclesiastes means preacher, and was most likely written no later than 931 BC. In this book, the preacher takes a look at all that life has to offer and the vanity of it all, in and of itself, to have lasting purpose and fulfillment in man's life. Solomon investigates the activities of man, and through each one comes to the same conclusion, that all is vanity. Pleasure-seeking, wisdom, folly, labor, rewards, prosperity, adversity, justice, wickedness, good and evil, life and death. We can see through Solomon's testing of all these areas that our purpose for life, our satisfaction, and our meaning must not come from anything or anyone other than God. And he concludes the book with this in chapter 12, verses 13 and 14. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is man's all. For God will bring every work into judgment, including every secret thing, whether good or evil. So that gives you kind of an overview of what the book of Ecclesiastes is about. And today I want us to look at a verse in chapter 7, one that I think will help all of us if we will keep this in mind. In verses 21 and 22 it reads, Also do not take to heart everything people say, lest you hear your servant cursing you. For many times also your own heart has known that even you have cursed others. You know, no one likes to be talked about in a negative way. I certainly don't. But a sure sign of immaturity is when you keep holding on to each and everything that someone has said to you or about you that you don't like or that has hurt you. You play them over and over in your mind, and you demonize the speaker as you counter their words with your own thoughts on the matter. Or you place their words far higher in your mind than they should ever be placed, and become far too concerned with one person's careless words, which may or may not have been near the intentions and thoughts behind it that you have given it. The unfortunate reality is that from time to time we all say things that we shouldn't, even towards people that we love and respect. Certainly, because we said one thing about someone that was careless or negative didn't mean that that was the only way or only thoughts that we had towards that person. You know, we've got to take care, obviously, how we speak to other people, which means we first have to guard what we're thinking about when it comes to others, because the Bible says that from the abundance of the heart, or the mind, the mouth speaks. But Solomon reminds us all in verse 20 that there is not a just man on earth who does good and does not sin. So we must be careful not to point the finger so quickly in our own defense, or become overly sensitive to what others might say, and focus on what we can control, which is our response and the way in which we speak about other people. But often today, anytime we hear that someone has said something negative about us, we run to others to comfort us, to agree with us that what they have said about us is wrong, and then we turn and go on the attack, to essentially pay them back for what they've said. And of course, there are times when we must defend ourselves, we must defend our name and our character, but for the most part, those things will be evident to those who know us, and will speak for themselves. Taking the high road and not allowing ourselves to be controlled or moved by what others say is going to speak volumes of our character and our self-control, as well as show that God is our defender, that he will take care of those who say wicked things about us. God can expose, he can convict, and he can deal with that person just fine without our help. In fact, Jesus said, bless those who curse you in Matthew 5:44, and he said not to resist those who insult us. Matthew 5:39. Hard to do, but that's his command to us. But if we keep a record of all the wrong things that are done or said towards us, we will certainly have no joy. And we will certainly not be walking in God's love, because God's love, described in 1 Corinthians 13:5, keeps no records of evil, or keeps no accounts of evil. Do not meditate on harmful words. Unless something is said about you or to you that is true, and it's something that you can work on with God's help, just forgive and move on. What good can it possibly do to nurse those thoughts and grow in resentment towards the one who said it? Can't do any good. but it can do a great deal of damage if you allow it to. Instead, let it simply be a reminder of you just how our words can affect others, and focus on making sure that your words are edifying to the people that are hearing them, and that they are seasoned with salt, as the Bible says, and impart grace to the hearers. God bless you. Guard your words. Don't take everything to heart that someone says about you. You know what you need to take to heart? It's what God says about you, and He loves you very much. We'll see you back here tomorrow on Swordbox.